Good evening, everyone. Controlled Chaos back, and let's get back to Stories, Tale of Destinies. I keep forgetting the name, but it really is good. I'm having fun with it so far. So, last time, a bit of a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen part 1 or played this. Last we've been through, we found out that Lapino is a traitor. So, to me, that would leave two options. Of course, I could come back to that and go through there, but I decided we'd try to build the Sky Ripper. See if that won't be of use. So, let's get right to it.
Every child knew about the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Reynardo could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it. As he set foot on the island, Reynardo couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Reynardo felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Reynardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
Well, I would. And that's pretty much what hope is. Sticking to something, whether or not you know it'll help or not. Well, see what's down here. Ah, I wonder if this means I can...
Crafting bench. Reynardo wondered what he could make with it.
Ah, the firestorm. Right. Well, this ought to be fun. And I can switch between them at will.
Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
Fair enough.
Ha!
Hey.
Bet you never saw that coming. The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the lost gods, thousands of thousands had died. But Reynardo had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one. Nice. That could be useful.
Ah. Shame I don't have the ice edge. Oh. Oh.
Already Renato knew more than he ever had. But about what?
Oh, okay. So the energy is through all the weapons. So I better save it until it counts. Until for when it counts.
Doing that, thought Renato.
Aha!
Hey, I'm a firefox, thought Renato.
Ugh.
That was going to hurt. Actually, it already did.
Woohoo! What have we got here? Awesome! Oh! Well, now I've got something to get to the workbench.
That had been his mistake before, trusting his old friend Lapino, who had been through so many battles with him and shed so many heartaches, who he'd rescued so many times. What was up with that guy anyway?
Aha! Here we are.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway.
Can't see it, but I'm rubbing my fins.
No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece.
Yes.
Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Useless shell. Which goes here. Let's go for this.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core. He looked up at the old trees around him. They were so Big and so old. They'd been there before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend.
Oh.
Was he confronting his own unimportance? What had got into him? He was no philosopher. Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero, and soon he'd prove it.
Look at that. There's the armature. How about that?
This chest was really awesome.
Eh?
See what I did there?
Ooh. Let's get my health up a bit. There. Ha.
Ooh, sparkly, thought Renato.
If only I had a workbench.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
I wonder if it's the scent of brimstone. Haha!
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest. The mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
I feel like the forest up till now was all an illusion. There it is.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark art, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
I think the Nexus had been raided already, so guess we ought to give it a shot here.
Renato had never been much of a student. At Swordfu School, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons he understood. His gut told him that the Skyripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists. Right? Exactly. As he set out down the path, Bernardo wondered why the parts of the Sky Ripper had only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it. This Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction.
Bit of a hint for anyone playing this. Grabbing enemies is very important. It'll make things much easier.
You know, ore is pretty heavy to carry. You know what's not? A new sword.
And I would make one if I find a workstation. But so far I haven't run into one yet.
He was tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon.
Yes.
He turned a knob on the Sky Ripper. It made strange, mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to hum. The Sky Ripper was following his every step. At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it? Fire, he said. Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years.
Finally!
Hey, a workbench! He could try out his new bling.
Yes. Alrighty. Let's see. There we go. Yep. Now I have the frost blade. But I prefer the hero's blade. Ooh. Is there a way to get over there? Oh. What are you? Oh! Hey, look at that! Look at that, it's working! Oh! Huh. So it is working.
The Sky Ripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them. Bernardo had a thought. Please? He asked. The Sky Ripper began to glow. Boom! The outpost burst into flame. Ravens flapped out screaming, wings on fire. The base was his. The far-speaker toad came hopping out.
Renato!
It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia.
Don't use the sky.
Uh-oh.
It will destroy the world.
Yeah, sure it will, cracked Renato. Pull the other one.
If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras. He'll tell you the same thing.
Oh, she would say that. That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating. Of course she would say that. He was supposed to hurry and bring the Sky Ripper to the Council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right? Damn it.
I have a feeling that what she's saying is right. So yeah.
Zenobia was so frustrating. If she couldn't get you with magic, she'd get you with reason and caution and sensible arguments. Of course, Calaveras, he might not know the latest scientific theories with evidence and all, but Renato preferred the knowledge in the old books anyway. What they said felt true, and that's what's important. You should be careful, though. She'd probably guess he'd come here. That meant she'd probably set an ambush for him.
Right.
Renato landed on the island, expecting Zenobia's ambush at any moment. On the other hand, there did seem to be a lot of ravens around here. Were they just lost patrols stirring up trouble? Were they looking for him? If she was going to ambush him, wouldn't she keep the road clear so he wouldn't be on his guard? Or, unless they were part of the ambush, the obvious reasons he was meant to see to take his mind off the ones he wouldn't see. God, after all these years, she still drove him crazy.
That was awesome.
Thanks, Sky Ripper.
Zenobia's ambush never materialized. Could she be sincere? Calaveras was a great scholar. Renato doubted even Zenobia could convince him to say something he didn't believe. And if he was working for the Empire, he'd never have told Renato about the Sky Ripper in the first place. Well, he would listen to the wise old toad. But that didn't mean he had to agree. Renato's paws were getting numb. Calaveras really didn't want company, did he?
Look at all that.
Why? Why did he listen to Zenobia? She was the enemy. Of course she didn't want him to use his shiny new weapon. The thing was, though, she was appallingly honest. I mean, she wouldn't lie even to an enemy. At least she'd never lied to him. So if she said he had to see Calaveras, it probably was a good idea to see him. Ugh, it was infuriating.
I made a wrong turn and I can't get over there now.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he?
I didn't think about the second tier. Ah! He must be Calaveras.
Calaveras examined the Sky Ripper eagerly.
What? How often does a new relic surface?
He brushed off Zenobia's warning.
Oh, what do sorceresses know about physics?
However, he did know a few ways to make the weapon even more precise and more powerful, and quickly went off to tinker. Soon the Skyripper no longer whined, but thrummed like a hummingbird taking off. It was ready for war. And so, Bernardo thanked Calaveras and took the legendary weapon to the final battle. But where were the other rebel ships? Had something happened? He could defeat the Imperial fleet with a Skyripper, but he couldn't govern. He was not cut out to be Emperor, and he'd no desire to be one.
It always ends at the Sky Fleet, I believe.
There were a few rebel ships here and there, but there was no organization to the battle. Where was the Council flagship? Something had gone terribly wrong. But he had the Skyripper, and the Ravens had nowhere they could hide. Precision, ferocity. The device was a woman. Buy it a drink.
This thing makes it so much easier. Oh.
The Council speaker was on the deck,
Uh-oh.
bleeding. Why was she even here? They found our base, she croaked. The Council, all dead. We must surrender. No, we could still win this, said Renardo. I have the Skyripper. He would be a real hero and save the day, even when all appeared to be lost. You're a good boy, said the speaker. And then she died.
You're new.
He fired the Skyripper. With a tremendous whoosh, the Emperor's flagship went up in flames. And for good measure, he played the beam around it, setting all the other nearby Imperial ships on fire too. And he watched them burn. The few remaining rebels gave a cheer. And then they stopped cheering. There was a hole in the air. A blackness, like a tear in a parchment. Wind was blowing into it, widening it. It grew larger. Crates were falling off ship decks, upwards into the hole. And the world itself seemed bent, like the reflection on a curved mirror as it poured into the ravenous hole. He guessed that somewhere behind that ever-widening hole were gods that had long been exiled. But it didn't really matter. Time was done for here, and soon it was. Bernardo stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? Or only dreamt it? Had he really died? It felt so real, not like a dream at all. And he'd lost again. Oh, he hated that. But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this This was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill. But he'd learn another true thing. The core was powerful, but dangerous if used improperly.
Skyripper core is unstable. Well, suppose with that, I think I'll call it. So, if you liked what you've seen, be sure to tune in next week, same time. And be sure to check out my Twitter page, where I'll be posting announcements and polls for you to decide on what to stream next as they come up. And with all that said, this has been the end of a Monday. Hope you all have a good night.
But that meant there must be a destiny where he survived and won, right? Otherwise, what was the point? And with that, the book's pages fluttered back once more to the beginning, and the clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game-changer. Pieces of the Skyripper had surfaced. Bernardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Skyripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis Stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing. Of course, Reynardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?